Hello and welcome to another episode of No Load Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me, it's rolling in like a bantha, Mr. Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Like that intro, man.
That was pretty good. So
That was
I
pretty good.
haven't I haven't done one of those in a while though. So yeah,
If you're watching a video, I
like a
did the like a
bantha.
bantha, guys. Like a bantha. There we go.
Hey, hey.
It's kind
Well,
of looks like a Harley when he does it, but
yeah,
you gotta
exactly.
get the whole,
Yeah,
jig with it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's always a good time when I'm here talking all things fun stuff, man. We got a great show ahead here, talking She-Hulk, Lord of the Rings, Xbox versus PlayStation, so much more good stuff. So I'm hyped, man. Since we our last episode, don't have very much to update you all on. Did you see, Obed, that they're re-releasing Rogue One in theaters and IMAX? So
Yeah,
I was able to nab tickets for that.
nice.
So next weekend I'll check it out, and the following week I'll tell you guys about the. Although we know September, I'll say September 21st, I think it is the actual release date. So a little sneak peek to drop them before then. I'd imagine it wouldn't be more than maybe one clip or a sizzle reel of some kind. But it's kind of funny. A year ago, I saw Rogue One for the Disney Plus Day thing when they decided to put that in, and here I'm again watching it in theaters again. I can't resist it, dude. I can't resist it. It's
Yeah,
one of the best that Disney's put out there,
yeah.
and it's always good to see Star Wars on the big
Out of
screen.
the Disney movies is the best one. Like there's no
Yeah,
arguing. There's no going around it.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
and when
so
you
good.
when you even go back to like main Star Wars, like OG trilogy and prequels, like if you to me it's up there with Empire. Like it's so good.
I'd say top five, dude. It's top five. It's top five Star Wars for
Yeah,
sure.
it's really good.
It's solid. Yeah,
Cool.
no, so I'm psyched for that. I was talking just today with my sister and saying how like like right now it's kind of the slowdown from the summer rush of blockbusters. So I know they're gonna re-release this little guy's movie, Spider-Man, in
Oh
theaters. So
yeah,
that was
yeah.
like the more
The
fun edition or
extended,
whatever. So
yeah, the
so I'll
extended
try and
version.
check that one out. I'm not gonna watch Avatar again in theaters. No offense. I'll see the new one when it comes out, but it's fine. It's fine. It's good. I've seen the movie. It's long, long as
It's
this
long. I
needs
never
to be.
watched the extended version that came
Me
out.
either.
Yeah.
Me
I
either.
remember seeing it. I remember seeing the Blu-ray for it, um, but I never actually watched it. So
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
yeah,
what
cool.
did you got going on your side, man?
Yeah, I actually watched something, Joe.
Hey, give us a rundown, man.
I watched Uncharted.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah, it's on Netflix. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I enjoyed it. I
Good,
enjoyed
good.
it. I yeah, it was good. Like
Yeah,
I didn't go in with like super high expectations, right? Um, but I guess expectations were met.
yeah,
That's if you
yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah,
I wouldn't say it's incredible, right? It has moments, but it's good, and I think it just maintains I guess the good the quality throughout the whole movie. Like there's no ups and downs, right? The movie starts with sequence, and it kind of like stays there. It's very flat. Like it doesn't have as like, oh, this is freaking awesome, or so like from beginning to end. It's pretty straightforward. I enjoyed it, man. I liked
yeah,
it. I liked it. I think that everyone was good in the movie. I think the premise was good. I think the whole meta. Spoilers, guys, if you haven't watched Uncharted, it's on Netflix. But I'm gonna go a little bit into spoilers here. Joel watched it already, so
yep,
I really like the meta with that they there's always been this conversation when it comes to Uncharted, when it comes to the ludonarrative dissonance of the games, where you have Nathan Drake is a very likable, down to earth, charming dude,
yeah.
right? But he's also a mass murderer.
It's true. It's
so
true.
so they really play with the meta, right? Where Drake hits someone. It's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, man. It's like, oh, I don't want. It's like, oh no. It's like, oh no, I don't want to shoot you, and I don't want to like they really play with the
Yeah.
meta on that, and I like it, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I know what they're doing, right? Because it's like we've been talking um, about this for many years, right, with Nathan Drake, and then and then they actually played it out in the movie, and I enjoyed it because it was good. Um, I like the moment, right? The moment when he gets the holster and then the music hits the
Yeah.
Uncharted music. That's
Yeah.
it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. It was a good
That was a
moment.
cool moment.
It was a good moment.
He's on
So
the ship and he gets the nail. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I liked it, man. I have honestly, if anything, right? Because they sell it like it's this huge action thing, and it's not, right. There's a lot of character development like throughout the first two acts. That's basically what it is you're building the relationship between Drake and Sully, and Chloe, right? So you're building that dynamic, and then the third act, that's when it goes crazy, and but it's still fun. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best descriptor for this movie is fun. It's a fun
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on the record saying that like I liked it, I didn't love it. Like it's a fun, I think it's a fun time as well. So I totally hear where you're coming from. I think one of my complaints is that it wasn't puzzly enough. It wasn't historical enough for me in the way that I would have appreciated it to have been really like dive deep into that stuff. It was more character driven, which is a good thing because you don't want to forget your characters. But
Yeah.
that's just a personal preference. I mean, you get the one really cool sequence where like they're in the tunnels or whatever. Thought that was like very uncharted and very, very cool. But I would have liked a little more of that kind of stuff. And I mean, like you have to look at it this way: like when the moment you've got Tom Holland playing Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg playing Sully, you got this is gonna be a very different Uncharted than what anyone may have been expecting initially. And for that reason, like to your point, just setting expectations differently. But it's funny. I feel like if I would have saw that movie first too, like at home, I probably would have been like more chill about it, because it does make I think for a good like home popcorn flick. I don't think it was a great
Yeah.
movie theater like experience personally. I'm not saying it was horrible either, but no, I think it's found its home now. It's good. I'm sure you saw the post credit scene. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, I mean the whole mustache
What's
thing.
that in your
That was
face?
yeah, that was
What's that in
pretty
your
fun.
face?
So yeah, I mean, like it was a good go. I always
Yeah.
joke like with Sony, like even if the movie's never not that good, it's always gonna visually look great. It's gonna sound great.
Yeah.
So and it did. So
Yeah.
that was a good time.
Yeah, I totally hear you when it's like not uncharted enough, and I think that's a valid point, right? I think that they needed to establish the characters more than anything.
Yeah,
And if we get a sequel, then probably the sequel will be more akin to Uncharted. Yeah, a lot of Indiana Jones type of
yeah,
callbacks, and I enjoyed it. It was a good time. It was
yeah,
fun. It
yeah.
was fun. It was fun. I finished Elden Ring.
Oh wow,
Okay,
there it is.
94 hours. Um, I'm missing two bosses, so I have to go back, uh, and see if I can beat them. Two optional bosses. So, um, all right. So now I'm gonna give you like no one knowing the bosses, right? Because I've already tried them, but when
Yeah.
I went in, I wasn't ready. That was kind of like the. I was like, okay, I'm good. I'll come back later. Um, this game is really good. This game is close to masterpiece as you can get. Um, it's janky, yes. It's hard, yes. It's cryptic, absolutely. The Some people say there's no story. There's tons of story. It's the
I'm
problem is
sure.
that you gotta read. Like, so do you know what this reminds me of, right? And it's crazy because I didn't really see it until like finishing the game and kind of realizing it. It reminds me of the Phantom Pain.
Oh, that's a strong
It
comparison.
reminds me and here's why,
Game's
right? Not
fantastic.
because the game, not because it's a fantasy setting versus a military setting,
Sure.
not because of that, right? But because the way the story's told, right? You have to read. You have to read. You have to read. You gotta every time you get an item, read the description, and the description is gonna tell you the story, right? And that's basically how the story in the Souls game, the Souls games tell you the story that way, right? It's like you find an item, you read the description. You find a helmet, you read the description. Find a sword, read the description, and that's gonna tell you the story, right? When you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, then you have like okay, now I know because I've read a ton.
Yeah.
Phantom Pain was similar because you had to get on the tapes, right? Of course, it's much easier when you have uh, uh, Kiefer Sutherland just talking to you and Troy Baker narrating the story to you is much
Yeah.
different, right? It's like okay, but you still have to go through the tapes so you can get the story, and it's the same. It's basically the same. So it's more of storytelling through gameplay, right? Like Phantom Pain was, but also um, then you have this passive way of them telling a story, and it's phenomenal. I This game is 10 out of 10. Like it really is honestly. The 10 out of 10s are well deserved. Um, it's unfortunate. I mean, I would say that this is unfortunate because in my opinion, kind of like what for me Nier Automata is a 10 out of 10, right? This game is a 10 out of
Sure.
10, but those games are not for everyone. Nier will tell you the story straight up, right? And
Yeah.
it's very in your face.
Yeah.
And but also you have to deal with the anime tropes. Um,
Yeah.
if you're a person that you don't have the patience to deal with anime tropes, then probably Nier was not gonna speak to you that much, but it did to me, and it's I think the perfect game. But Elden Ring is like so cryptic and hard, and everything's out to get you, and one mistake can cost you everything, and all this stuff, right? The high stakes, and punishing gameplay, it's just not for everyone. It doesn't click for every type of gamer, and again, I'd say it's unfortunate, but if you are, um, if you're someone that is not afraid to get outside your comfort zone and try something challenging and rewarding with a incredible, incredibly like high fantasy, dark. It's more of dark fantasy story. Yeah, dude, this game's it's crazy, dude. That last boss I tried for like an hour. I
Wow.
counted it because I remember I started playing like at 7:50 in the morning and I beat it like at around 8:50 in the morning. And I was like,
Wow.
tried like an hour, dude. It's like kept dying, kept dying. Until I did it, dude. And I did it. And I was freaking shaking. I was like, I put the controller down. It's like, all right, I did this. I did it. I did it right,
Yeah.
and then you have no time to think, and you're shaking, and then I missed something in the room where you go to the end,
No.
like I missed something, cause I was like so like, what do I do? Okay, yeah, that's what I want, cause that I like her, so and that's the ending I got right, so
Wow.
yeah, dude, it was that yeah, it's challenging, dude. That last boss, you gotta get creative with your movement because you don't have
So
your horse.
unlike the Phantom Pain, you don't have the chicken head, whatever mode you
Yeah,
can do.
no chicken head here, man. Mm-mm.
Is this
You
this this
gotta
game gets you
yep,
right in there.
yep. Man, it's crazy. So no, I did a little bit of research, and that's the thing, right? Because this is the type of game that okay, I'm stuck at the boss. Let me do some research, and I'll come back, right? Um, it it reminds me a lot of the old like Zelda, like and the original. It's funny because a lot of people compare the Souls games with the original Zelda, where you're thrown in, right, and there's this cave at the beginning. It's like it's dangerous to go alone. Take this, and you get the sword, but then where do I go, right? And I remember playing Zelda as a kid, and other Sega Master System games like Golvilius and all this other stuff with a pen and paper. It's like and taking notes. Like you could to get the best out of this game, like take notes because there's no way to track. I think they actually added it. It's like the it's hard to track your side quests, but it's if you just have pen and paper. It's like this person wants me to go here. Remember to come back before going to another place. So, like if you take notes, like play this with pen and paper, absolutely phenomenal. So good stuff, man. The game's it's freaking
That's
incredible.
awesome.
Like I think the world, like I said, as like an open world thing, it's probably the best, the most well designed world, right? Because you get things like Spider Man and GTA where you have a city, right? And that's
Yeah.
it's a city, and it's a city, and there's nothing else to it, right? But then you get Horizon where you get more elaborate things and all this stuff. But then this game is just takes it to like another level. It's like, oh yeah, this thing is it's done. And then you look down a ravine. It's like I can probably land there and not die. And then you take the risk, right? And this risk reward. It's like, okay, I'm here. I didn't die. I see another one down there, and I can keep going down. And then you get down there, and there's like a freaking great item or certain doom. It's what it is, right? It's risk reward. Um, it's fantastic. I have nothing but positives to say about this game. It's you know when it comes to the story itself, right? It really is like a love letter to like Lord of the Rings, and of course, George R. R. Martin was involved with
Yeah.
creating the scenario for this game. So,
Game of
like,
Thrones.
yeah, like if you would take Lord of the Rings with Game of Thrones, and you would like mash them together, that's this game would come out. Basically,
Wow.
that's how I would say it. So it's good. It's worth it, man. Even if you're not into this, like very hard gameplay and punishing, I still recommend it. It's like
I
it's
mean,
worth giving it a try.
I feel like it was talked about so much more than any of us expected for it to get the recognition. I mean, you got people like Elon Musk tweeting about like
Right?
playing this game and stuff. Like it's getting everybody's attention.
Yeah.
There's something very special about it, and I like that. So I'm glad
Yeah.
to hear your experience because it definitely sounds like something that would it make me more inclined to give it a try if I had the
Yeah.
opportunity. Like if this was a PS Plus title or something, like I would be more inclined to give it a try because the word of mouth is very good.
I don't like Black Friday or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they announced today that they sold 17 million copies
Jeez.
in like six
Wow.
months, dude. Like this is gonna do like GTA numbers.
I
And
mean, sounds
it's
to me like it's
it's
better.
getting
Oops,
there.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're almost assured that there's gonna be like a DLC expansion because there's
Wow.
one specific character that it's mentioned throughout the entire game, and you don't even see the character, and then you find the character, but then is the character dead or is the character sleeping? Right? It's one of those things, right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's
Okay.
it's nuts. It's nuts. This game is phenomenal. She Hulk. Um.
What a transition.
Okay. Um. I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, I went into the show with pretty low expectations, and I gotta say, like, I found it pretty charming the first episode. I actually thought that it was pretty good. Like, I didn't. I heard a lot of people say like from the press. I think the press got to see like 4 episodes or something, right? And so I kept seeing before and people being like, "Yeah, first episode not so good. Like the fourth episode, it's so good. Like it gets like people were saying like WandaVision good. Like people are gonna be talking about it,
Uh-huh.
whatever." I was like, "That's pretty strong."
That's
I'm
good.
like, if this is supposed to be one of the weaker ones, I thought it was pretty good. I will say, like, I think they quickly, are giving her an origin story. I think that's the right approach to give her origin in there.
Yeah.
But like, it's funny. Like, what brought me into the show with more interest was like after being at Comic Con and seeing all the characters that were going to be in it, like seeing like Wong being in it, seeing the Abomination, seeing that Daredevil's going to be like just seeing that made me more excited for a She-Hulk show than the actual character She-Hulk. But when I got to see this actress's portrayal of the character, I think she did a really nice job in this first episode. I think they clearly cleaned up the CGI a lot
Oh
better. I mean,
yeah.
it worked way better.
Yep.
Did not stand out like a Shrek character that we thought it was going to be at first. And yeah, I mean, like it was a nice starting off. Like you start off at a good pace. So yeah, no, I'm okay with this. There's not
Yeah.
too much to really say or speculate on yet. They're just setting the groundwork, and it's a good foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, don't go in thinking that this is you know, the Falcon Winter Soldier is serious. Like this is
No,
straight up a comedy, right?
and I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I like that it's different. I like that it's a
yeah,
comedy. Um, it's basically a continuation of Smart Hulk from Endgame, right?
yeah.
And that's basically what it is, and it's good. It's really
I
good. I
know.
liked it. Like the
They were
jokes.
more like brother and sister than cousins. Like the
Yeah,
way they
yeah,
were. They try.
yeah,
I loved
yeah.
that.
I think
Their
that the
their dynamic.
yeah the jokes were on point. There
Uh,
were callbacks to Banner and Tony working
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
Man, I was pleasantly surprised with you know, I expected it to be okay, right, or good,
yeah.
because word of mouth out there in the internet was like, oh yeah, it's actually pretty good. Um, so I went in with like decent expectations and was pleasantly surprised with like I laughed. It
Yeah,
was
same,
good. It was good.
same.
It was funny. It was
Yeah,
fun. Well
same,
well
same.
directed. Yeah,
What do you any thoughts or reactions to the Sicarian ship that shows up?
that surprised
Like
me. Yeah,
I definitely thought that was a cool moment.
yeah,
I tried to stay away from like apparently that was like a whole clip online or something. I tried to stay away from it beforehand.
yeah.
Trying to have a pure reaction, but
Yeah, that's gonna play
I,
to whatever comes next.
that has to. I
Yeah.
mean, because Bruce makes a statement like I'm gonna have to handle that later.
Yep. I don't have
Um,
to figure it out. Yeah.
cool, like also taking the straight out the comics, like the whole blood transfusion thing. Obviously they just kind of made that he just drips a
It's, a,
little bit of blood
it's
in
an
her
accident.
and whatever. But
Yeah.
you know what, like you're taking something that could have been a whole large arc and you're just speeding it up, but still taking with liberties, still
Yeah.
keeping it faithful.
It
I think that was
reminded me
cool.
of the Big Brain Man from
Oh
Incredible Hulk.
yeah,
Yeah. Because
yeah,
he drips some
yeah.
blood and then he was like, "Oh, I got
Right in his
big
open
brain
head.
now." Yeah. And that went nowhere.
Which I was so hyped for that dude at that time. I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. You're gonna have all these Hulk characters.
Yeah. No.
No. But like also the way she's able to show how she's able to control her anger very fast. Like I love how they like Bruce is able to acknowledge it's like this is uncharted territory. Like I'm being
Yeah.
cautious, because he has to be. Like, I mean, he understands like his exact statement. He's like, you get super angry, and he's like, this is life or death. Like you get rage out, and then suddenly someone dies, not because you wanted to kill them, but because the Hulk is just that powerful.
Yeah.
But it just shows you that it's a different his abilities and her ability is very different. The type of Hulks that they're gonna be, the type of personalities. I loved that ending with the whole being in the courtroom and like she's like, I don't want to have to do this, like take the shoes off and just message, and then goes right back into like, all right, we can proceed with the case.
Yeah. Then
um
I can see where
so
Man Murdoch would fit right in the setting. So
perfectly.
yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I know there was
so
rumors that Jessica Jones may be in the show at some
yeah,
point
yeah.
too,
So
so
I'm
we'll
I'm
see.
I'm curious to see how he's gonna be portrayed, right? Because he's super serious, right? In the
Yeah.
other, in the series, but he's like seeing him in this type of different like comedic setting is gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So I heard the creator, I guess, that made a comment about earlier on and said that she made him more light or made him more comedic, like in their world. So you're gonna see a more like comedy version of him. So like
Mm,
I don't know how that's gonna work, but I
yeah, yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I'm curious to see how it goes. But no, I liked it. I don't have really much more to say than like it was a good time, and I feel like if this is how you start, like it's got to be gonna get a lot better as it goes on. So I get a feeling we're in for a good one. I'm very optimistic and very hopeful about the future episodes. Where I wasn't feeling that way before when it was initially announced. I didn't think it would be terrible, but just didn't look for me. But Now I'm in, man. I'm totally excited to see the next episode next week.
Yeah, yeah. So now I kind of like get like it motivated me to start Miss Marvel. So I'm planning to start it this week. So
Yeah, and to be fair, like Miss Marvel's a very different show, man. I mean,
yeah,
when you get
that's
to
good,
it,
and that's
it's
good.
it's it's good. I enjoyed it for what it was,
Hmm.
but I mean, I think the whole history stuff you'll get into and the culture stuff really well done. The ending, but you know what? You'll I think when you get to it, we'll have a good discussion at that time for sure about that one.
Yeah, cool, cool, man. Joel, do you want to take a quick break and we'll have the WB update?
Yes, our weekly one at this point.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right, Joe. So last week we talked about the three options that WB was weighing in for Ezra Miller to continue, or The Flash as a movie to actually be a reality. And of those choices, choice number one was have him come out and put out a statement, right? So
That one of them was him going on camera. Ezra Miller would be on camera doing a statement, but we still got a statement nonetheless.
Yep. So, statement went out, and Ezra on the statement said that he had some a complex mental health issue.
Yes,
And
I could read it off if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No worries. Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I'm suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize for everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I'm committed to doing the necessary work to get back to health and safe and productive stage in my life. So that's it.
Yeah. So,
Short statement.
yeah. When it comes to this is a wait and see for me, right? And when we talked
Yeah.
about it off camera, we said that this is going to be something that we'll know 6 months from now how serious he is, right? When it comes to this, um, I'm. I mean, there was clearly some mental issues, mental health issues happening.
Certainly.
Um, and for that I don't judge, right? It's if he's seeking the help that he need that or they, I'm sorry, um, are seeking the help that they need. I I respect it, and it's something that I said last week. It's like you come out and say, hey, I did this and that, and the people that are hurt, and that I'm sorry, right? And I'm getting help. Then I'm good with that. Like I'm good with this statement, um, because there is a mental health issue involved, and I don't want to be like, oh yeah, you can act crazy and say that you have mental health problems and just keep acting like a an idiot out there. It's like you don't know how you're going to react. Uh, you know, there's different types of mental health issues that Ezra might have suffered from, and I'm not qualified to speak to that. So I'm just gonna leave it to the experts. And if he's seeking, or if Ezra's seeking help, that's let's see what happens after that. So
Yeah, you and I feel pretty similar about this. Like when you mentioned, we spoke about offline, and like the message you said to me was like, admission is the first step, and I think that's the right perspective. I will say though, it's important, and I'm not going to downplay what was done, but it has less weight when you have piles and piles and piles and piles. But this thing's been going on for a long time, and things just getting worse and worse and worse. And then it's like your movie is on the line, of not coming out. Your career basically is on the line, and then you're like, well, sorry guys, I'm having some problems. Um, can't go backwards. Flash can't go backwards, ironically, in this circumstance. So you have to move forward. And like you said, the first step is to admit that you're wrong. But I'd be lying if I didn't say, like, it's like, it can almost feel like it's almost too late, because even with this statement, do you really think that Warner will ever work with this? I don't think that Ezra Miller will ever work again for them. And I could be very wrong. I'm not saying that this was as an absolute fact. It's just hard for me to mentally imagine, even if you feel bad for somebody's well-being, this individual jeopardized hundreds of other people's jobs.
not
And
not
you got to
only
say
that, potential hundreds of millions of dollars.
dollars, right? So it's like, it's a company, not a
Yeah.
charity. And as
Yeah.
much as you might feel bad for the person, you have to run your business. And you do, I think, if and then you have to imagine Warner was involved in this whole statement thing as well. Like, if this is the direction they're going, it's the right way to go, because you don't have to throw your star, out in the streets and then just keep going on, look like a money making machine. Because that's what people looked at them after the Batgirl thing, and just said, "Oh, it was clearly just about money." Which, I mean, we understand it better now, but still, was a tough look for the company, and people don't understand the complexities. They just see the news that a movie was canceled and it's never going to come out, and then people read it one way. If they looked at this and that the headline was just, this is another movie that gets cut, well, then that's all people are going to see. They're not going to. Not everyone follows the day-to-day beat the way we do, and that's why people are here on the low time, right? For us to have these honest discussions.
Yep.
But regardless, not getting deep into that, except to say that, I'm happy to see that something was said. I do believe in redemption. I've said this before. I think that anybody who really wants to get things right and do the right thing truly can change and can leave the past in the past. And you don't have to have the same stuff. And you might have the battles could still be there, because you're a human like everybody else, and you're gonna have good days and bad days. But if you do the right steps to get the help you need, it makes those days better, and it doesn't have to affect other people's lives. And that's what we hope at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So
And
I
Ezra's
want to
still
be clear
young,
about
man.
that.
That he can they can get over this and have
Yeah,
a
this is the
very
time to
good
do it.
long career. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is the time
Look
to
at
do it.
RDJ. RDJ.
Exactly.
You
He
know,
was crazy,
and
RDJ.
he was already a grown ass man.
And let's
Ezra's
be
still young.
real.
Yeah.
And
So
let's be real. If Twitter was a thing when RDJ was young,
oh, bro,
he would never have
cancelled.
been Iron Man.
Can't. Yeah,
Would have never been
canceled,
hired.
bro. Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So we have to. I agree with you. I agree with you. We got. I do. I look at things and I say, make sure justice is served for the people who were wronged. But to the same extent, I don't go to the overboard where, like, okay, toss them out and throw away the keys. Like, there's a balance and a fine. You and I are very much into that walking that fine line, I think, and
Yeah.
trying to understand it. But
everyone.
yeah, hopefully now this helps the movie to come out now,
Yeah, exactly.
because this has to be option two.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and everyone has a chance at redemptions. And it's not like on the internet, right? Like it's there's no redemption on the internet, but everyone deserves a chance at it. And if Ezra's willing to take
100%.
it and willing to go through the uh proper medical uh system that they need to go to, and then that's that will be fine. It's
The Flash needs to stop running away from the problems. That's the thing. I think that's at the end of this, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
like
good.
you have as Ezra has been running away from legal battles, business, all of it. Stop and face the music, and you'll have more respect. You stop, you
I
get
think
your
that's
mental health in check, right? Don't run away from legal documents. Face it. If you've got nothing to hide, or you have something that's been going on, there you got it. You gotta have due diligence here. Let's see this thing play itself out. But don't, if you keep running from your problems, you keep running from the stuff, it's only going to get worse. So if it's time, right? It's time to see this stuff play out, and I look forward to seeing more updates, hopefully on the
yeah,
positive trajectory, because
hopefully
we want
positive.
this
Yeah,
movie. We still want to see this movie because supposedly it's really good, right?
yeah,
Supposedly it's a really good movie.
yeah, yeah.
But you said 6 months. I think
Uh,
that's if between, like, if we just get the statement, and then I see like tomorrow, next week, next month, whatever, a video of you, like, throwing a bottle at somebody, or, like,
choking
choking
someone
someone
else.
out, or pulling a woman's hair or something.
Oh, Joe,
I'm
stop,
sorry. Like, look,
stop.
you got to be about actions.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got to be about actions and take the steps. You can't be,
exactly.
oops, I did it again.
No, it's a serious problem, right? And Ezra needs to take this seriously,
Yeah.
and not just for their own sake, but for the sake of the people that are around him. People that depend on him for a job, Warner, and business, right? Yeah, I guess we'll see. Like I said, like I'm not expecting this sort of thing to get resolved immediately because mental health issues don't get solved, over a weekend. These things take time, and at at least 6 months to have some sort of trajectory that you're going to follow. So
Takes
yeah,
time.
we'll
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah, but hoping for the best on this one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe, there's also been many other changes and restructures at HBO since the our previous update. I know that CNN is also cutting heads. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Today, announcement of lost shows getting cut, and I
Yeah.
mean all kinds of crazy news. But I think the first thing was just seeing, unfortunately, the layoffs. Like we're seeing, there is a slew of layoffs, so they're making cuts. I mean, they're not the only company that's doing that. There's a lot of companies right now doing that. Unfortunately, from an economic standpoint. Um, but you look at that, then you look at the news of a lot of shows being, like you're saying, canceled, TV series, stuff that we're not going to really get too much into because it's not, but it's important to mention because of the fate of the stuff that we are more so interested in, which is the DC stuff. And right now, according to Deadline, right, the only series that are being cleared to move forward is the second season of Peacemaker, which James Gunn had basically said on Twitter, "Hey, we're still doing it." The Penguin spinoff with Colin Farrell, which I'm so happy to hear that continue on because I thought he was one of the best characters in the new Batman movie, and then the Greg Berlanti Green Lantern Corps. Um, Interesting. So just getting into this a little bit here, like I think one of the main things from the announcement, Obed, was of what was going on in quarter two, with the earnings call, was just a thought about how is it that Green Lantern still doesn't get the respect, that
Oh
the
no.
character deserves? And I think I've mentioned this to you before, like that's I'd say Green Lantern is probably my favorite DC character, like from the
You
comic
said,
books, like
yeah,
straight
you've
up.
said it
I've
before.
said it
Yeah.
before. Yeah, it's like I mean, there's a lot to be said about. I mean, and even the various, obviously Guy Gardner, not crazy about, but like outside of that, like just generally speaking, like just the corpse as a whole, I think is a fantastic thing. Greg Berlanti, though, man, I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I mean, clearly with the CW verse, did a lot, right? You look at just from Arrow being built out to where they are now with 9 seasons of Flash and all. Like, I'm not saying that this is a horrible thing, but I do hope. I did kind of hope that this show would be put in a really hardcore, huge budget, like an HBO full production kind of thing. I don't want it to feel cheesy and too goofy. I want it to be a really epic space opera. So we'll see what happens. Greg Berlanti, there were people who were rumoring, Obed, that he would step in to be the new Feige of the DC universe.
Mm.
Maybe there's some weight to that after this Deadline thing. I'm sure those discussions are still happening. If it's me, I say get the powerhouses together, get Jim Lee involved, not get him out straight from the books, get him more into the movie stuff to give you that validity for the fans. But then you also gotta bring in an exec that knows how to make large style movies, not just TV shows. So, man, interesting stuff. I have very mixed feelings about this, but the one thing that out of that whole list that made me go, great, I'm happy to see this keep going, is the Penguin series, because I want more Penguin. I think that show could be really special, especially on an HBO series.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I haven't heard
Yeah.
anything after the movie came out. Like there was rumor that like those
Yeah.
that was talked before the movie came out, right? And the movie came out and nothing and like I didn't hear anything, and then yeah, like
But
I would totally I'm on board like a penguin thing. Oh yeah,
it'd be
that was
so
so
good. I
good,
mean, that
man.
was one of my favorite. I tell you, I was
That
laughing
was
so much with the
phenomenal.
portrayal. Like, Colin Farrell was so good, bro.
Like it wouldn't
Uh,
surprise me that he get nominated
oh,
for
I
something.
I wish he would, because like
Yeah,
the transformation was insane.
yeah,
To me, Obed, that was probably like my favorite sequence in the movie was the whole like Batmobile chasing like the
That was
penguin. Like
phenomenal.
that whole scene, bro, is
Yeah.
so freaky. It's so
And
good. It
not
goes so hard.
not even just the makeup and whatnot.
No,
That
no,
was absolutely excellent. But just
yeah.
like his voice and his accent, everything, right?
The Godfather personality that he
It
put
was
into it, that
it
was
was
so good.
crazy. Like he doesn't even talk like Colin Farrell. It's nuts.
No,
It's
no, I,
nuts.
I wouldn't have known it was Colin Farrell unless they
Yeah.
said because it was so
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
The performance, yeah, to
It's
me,
pretty
like so
incredible. Yeah.
stole the scenes. Every scene that he was in, he was stealing it. So hearing that show for them, like, yeah, please, I want more of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, that's one of the best parts. But and that probably means the speculation was Batman 2 wasn't coming. So probably means Batman 2 is still on the map, which is also more good news. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, we'll
Yeah.
see what goes on there. I'm sure we'll have more WB updates as time goes on.
Yeah. Definitely. Good stuff. Unless they get bought up by
Oh my
Embracer Group.
gosh. Buys everybody.
Embracer Group out here buying everything and not just everything, right?
Yeah.
Um, Somehow they were able to rip from the Tolkien estate um, the entire rights to the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Meaning like they own the Lord of
Yes.
the Rings.
Yeah.
Um, this was like a shock, like out of nowhere. Um, and I I looked it up and I was like, I didn't know that Embracer had that much money. Last I heard, like last time, honestly, dude, and last I
They
heard,
rich,
like,
but they rich.
no, right. Well, the thing is that there was someone that was after the Lord of the Rings stuff a little while ago. I can't remember exactly who it was, and they were saying that it's probably valued at like around $2 billion for everything. And Embracer got it for how much was it? Like 700 and something.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Uh,
I got the
yeah,
headline up here somewhere.
yeah. For some reason, the headline, the one that I put on the notes,
Yeah.
577 billion. Uh,
Whew.
that's altogether
Are
for
you
for
serious?
the yeah. That's all the acquisitions that they spent today. So
They
the
just
yeah,
spent on a spending spree.
because the thing is that the Amazon spent 250 for the rights for the show, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and based on the article that I read this morning, Embracer spent like an extra, like like for 300 million more, you could have the whole thing, and that's yeah,
Jeez.
bro. So I don't know, I don't know where this money came from, dude. Embracer's weird. Embracer's
You gotta be
weird. I'm
careful.
not. I mean, I'm saying they've been around for a long time, right?
Might be Omar and
Um,
Jose on the run here
no,
again.
Omar and Jose. Oh man.
We don't know where that money came from, man.
Yep. I don't know. I'm not saying that Embracer is shady, right? No, but Embracer has been investing for a
Yeah.
while now in media, and they've been around for a very long time. So
Yeah, yeah.
they probably do have um, money to spend. That said, you know, they bought recently. They bought was the Eidos, right? Because they got Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief,
Yes.
all the Eidos stuff. Um, they bought the what was left of THQ when THQ came out when bankrupt. They bought those names and they ended up absorbing the studio that makes the Saints Row games. Um,
Yeah.
they they work with Gearbox, Saber Interactive, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So in addition to that, they actually went ahead and bought some other stuff. Yeah. So they uh, also bought up Tripwire, uh, Synctrix, and Tuxedo Labs. So they're diversifying. They're not just buying big properties; they're also buying smaller stuff. So
It's more so though on the, how do I put it? They're buying stuff that sounds like more so on the fan side, of things. And they understand there's probably a lot of money to make around that. And so I know the rumors right away are the movies of potentially the spin-off stuff, you know, the Gandalf spin-off movie, Aragon movie, Gollum, Kirindel, you know, like making those spin-off movies. And then even video games, like they're probably gonna take this cash cow now that they hold the Infinity Stones on this dude. They're going to just
Yeah.
wield it, and you're gonna probably
Yep.
see a lot of Lord of the Rings over the next 10 years,
Yeah.
like we haven't seen in the
Well,
last few.
yeah. Well, the thing is that they already have a, what's at least a 7-year deal with Amazon because they sign up for 5 seasons. That
Which they
could take.
clearly think is going to do good.
I think so, man. Based
Yeah,
on the last trailers that we've
yeah,
gotten and some of the other info that's gotten out there, like I wasn't like this wasn't on my radar, right? Because they're like, oh, they're gonna do
yeah,
their own thing and they're gonna mess it up, and the movies are awesome and this and that, um, and now like this trailers they really got me like
yeah. They're
very
unnoticed.
interested in what they're doing. Yeah, yeah, they're doing it's different, but it's good. It's a good different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see where all this goes. This is I mean, this is a major uh,
Yeah,
announcement.
that's huge.
Not meaning that they own, um, both Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and not only books and movies, and it's everything: books, movies, video games, board
Eh,
games, everything. So
I mean, the last video game was the Shadow of War
Shadow of
ones,
War,
or
yeah.
yeah. Which I mean, you know, they're not bad, but it would be nice to see some new next
So
gen.
you know what? You mentioned it. I
They
thought
did a
about.
Smeagol game, didn't they?
There's a Golem game that's got delayed a bunch and it looks really bad.
Does look terrible.
Yeah. So when I finished Elden Ring and this week doing my whole like Elden Ring like lore breakdown and whatnot, I thought about Shadow of War.
Oh, really?
Yeah, cause
Going back in?
cause I thought I was like, what if they do a Lord of the Rings like this? Oh wait, they did. Because like Shadow of Mordor was good, I really enjoyed it. But Shadow of
Yeah,
War, I played like an hour of it, and I just didn't feel it. I
yeah.
didn't feel it. So, um, yeah. I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. Oh, by the way, I don't have it on the notes, but do you see that that there was a an article floating around that the Just Cause studio was working on an Iron Man game for the longest time, and the game got canceled.
See, this is the second time now we're hearing about an Iron
Yeah,
Man game, and obviously
from
now I
another
think it's EA
studio.
that's working on it.
Yeah,
So clearly this is a thing, but
yeah.
why is it so hard to make? I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
mean, you made a good point, like with these guys making it that it's kind of like
Well, like
similar to
Anthem.
what's Anthem,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
I,
weird.
I guess we'll wait and
Like,
see.
and
Yeah.
how much more money that would have made if you would have put out a really good Iron Man game, like when like Infinity War and Endgame and stuff was going on. Like, because you think of
Yeah.
like the Spider-Man games are so good, and
And
like it's perfect
and
timing with like No Way Home and Spider-Man's
and
the hype that
Guardians.
he is.
Like Guardians
Guardians,
was really well, yeah,
yep,
because it was like after like right before Thor, after Endgame, and there's
yeah,
another movie coming out. Like it was very well, like that was very strategic. Like so,
yeah,
that was very interesting. That good game too. Guardians of the Galaxy, very surprisingly good. So,
yeah.
um, all right, Joe. So, big rumor this week is that people are digging into Spider-Man for PC, and they found what they think is traces of a PlayStation PC launcher, meaning an app, kind of like Steam and Epic and whatnot, and the Microsoft, Game Pass or whatever, for PC. Um, Earlier this week, I sent you a message saying that, hey, there's a rumor floating around that the PlayStation may put some of the PlayStation games behind the online behind PS Plus for PC
Yeah.
too. So this comes out, and then yesterday or a couple days ago, we got this report. Um, it looks like PlayStation is really going into the like diversifying and going into PC as well. So very interesting. I think it's the right move at the right time. As long as they don't go crazy like like Game Pass is like, oh yeah, here's everything.
Yeah.
Although Game Pass for PC is a lot more diluted than the one for Xbox. The one for Xbox is better than the one for PC, but even on
Yeah.
PC you still get um, a decent amount of games because you get the EA stuff as well. So um, I can totally see games that are on the PlayStation Plus services that are already on PC being on this service.
Oh,
So
sure.
like all of the Sega stuff that's already on the PlayStation Plus Extra, the games that are like Final Fantasy VII remake that's already in the Epic Game Store. I can see it be here. Um, of course, like Spider Man, God of War, Horizon, um, whatever comes out next. Like there's rumors that Ghost of Tsushima is gonna be added. So all those games that have a PC port that they can just straight up put into the service, I can see it being a real good competitor for Game Pass, which they basically they have no competition right now. And then, of course, the the dominance that Steam had has sort of dwindled down recently. Because the competition is a good thing, and people hate having different launchers. But hey, you know what? You have options. That's the
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this is the right move at the right time on behalf of PlayStation. If they're not able to keep up the demand for PS5, this is where you would go to get that extra bump in sales that you may need. So I think it's the right move, man. What do you think?
I'm a fan of this. I'm totally a fan. I think I remember them being on record. I want to say saying that they want to have like half of their library between like to be available on both like PC and mobile. I think was like one of the statements there.
Yeah,
Um, I'm more a fan of the PC than I am the mobile. Movement. But I will say like you bring up a good point when you say if you have to keep dealing with these supply chain problems and the demand of everybody just wanting one and bots trying to get these things, you know, this is going to be very profitable if you're giving people an alternative way to still get the library of games that they want to access and they're willing to pay for. I would imagine that this would be an extremely popular competitor. There's a lot of people that are PC gamers who don't have a PS5 and don't plan on having one. And they're getting these games. We're seeing the popularity with the Spider-Man game. We're seeing the popularity going on with other games. But seeing them actually come through here and actually, you know, potentially offer something more, um, that's fair. And I don't think it's not a surprise to me, is what I should say. So this is not this is something that's just more so confirmation to the direction that most of suspected they'd be going. Yeah, doesn't bother me none.
yeah. Um, if they come up with like with a stable launcher that is not too
Yeah.
crazy, and they still give you the ability to you know go in and mod games and all that. Although there's a big controversy with Spider-Man today on
Yeah.
that. I don't know if you saw it. I don't even talk.
Yeah. And banning people and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like
Yeah.
get
People taking the time to do all
get
kinds of things.
get with the program, guys. I mean, what the heck? Um, it's man, it's good. I think this is good. If they actually come out with a good launcher, what's unfortunate, right, is that and this could be only um for like PlayStation Studios games, right? So that have multiplayer, which has are like very few of them. That multiplayer could be behind PS Plus, but I don't necessarily think that that could be the case. I think the case is that they want to make a launcher where games that are already on PC that are on PS Plus Extra
Right.
or Premium can be on this service. I think that's the whole thing of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll wait and see on that. Real quick, Joe, the last bit of news that I have here is that based on some court filings, the there's a whole bunch of drama going on between PlayStation. They are against the Activision acquisition, rightfully so, right? This is after they Microsoft snatched Bethesda along with a ton of other studios. They went and got Activision. Um, I can totally see again. This is competition. This is the whole thing, and they'll let them deal with the thing, right? But it came out. I guess Xbox was arguing that even with those studios, they still don't have the market share of foothold that PlayStation has, and it was revealed that the Xbox One sold the PS4 outsold the Xbox One 2-1 at the end of the day. The PS4, it's sitting at 117.4 million units right now, and based on information that's out there, shipments have stopped for PS4, so they're done.
Sad.
Yeah, so sad.
End of an era.
Great piece of awesome piece of hardware. But yeah, it got the Xbox One sold half of the amounts of the PS4, basically, at the end of the day, which was what a lot of us thought, right? I thought that they were around 50, so that means that they were probably around 50-ish. Interesting, right? Because of all the Xbox fanboys pushing out their wait for it 3, but then nothing happened, and then looks like we're back to that to some extent, but everything's getting delayed. Yeah, it's they got pummeled. they got clobbered pretty good, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised either with this one. Like, Xbox One, they struggled, and I think even Microsoft would be able to admit, like, hey, they had to make changes. Different story with Series S and Series X. They've rebounded, good for them. But the console itself, wasn't necessarily that the hardware was horrible, but the entire launch of it, you have. They had to release Xbox One, then Xbox One S, and then Xbox One X, and it became too much of a running joke. The
Don Matrick thing at the beginning. Don Matrick was like, if you don't like to be online, buy an Xbox 360. And
it's like war veterans and the people with stuff. Dude. Oh my gosh. It was not a good situation.
It was not good. But yeah, I mean, that's said and done. We'll see how the new consoles will stack up against each other when it comes to sales. I know that Xbox, I got an offer from Best Buy the other day for the Series S with Game Pass and an extra controller for $17 a month for 2 years. So
interesting.
Yeah, we'll see where that ends up. It's going to be an interesting rest of the year when it comes to gaming in 2023. I was going to say 2013. Oh my god. 2023 is shaping up to be another incredible game in gaming. So, Joel, in the meantime, that's what we got. Where can people find us?
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for sticking with us. We want to invite you to stay connected, stay subscribed. So subscribe to the No Load Time podcast on podcast platforms of your choice. Places like Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, SoundCloud. We ask you to please subscribe to us on your podcast platform of choice. And we also ask if you'd write a review. That really helps us out as we are able to do the show, from our hearts, with our own money, our own time. If you would just help respect the hustle by just doing something that's free, we're just hitting that subscribe button. Like it's nothing that we're asking you to do anything too crazy. That subscribe really goes a long way. And if you're able to also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is where the video versions are of our show, hit that subscribe button, like the videos, drop us a comment. Really, it really helps us out. We appreciate it. We also ask you if you would follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And of course, you can follow us on our TikTok account now at No Load Time as well. So we invite you there. We also are on Twitch, so No Load Time Altogether. Find us No Load Time Altogether on Twitch. We stream our episodes here. And Obed, almost end of summer here. Maybe we can sneak in a game. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Yeah,
talk
we'll see,
about
man.
it. But regardless, please make sure to give us a follow. We'd really appreciate that. Share these episodes with your friends and family. It'd be really appreciated. Last but not least, if you have any feedback, questions, or comments, we'd love to hear from you. So send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Thank you all so very much, and we'll be with you on our next episode.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.